What's up, hustlers? Welcome back to my channel, the channel where it's all about helping you build your blog, create awesome content, and helping others grow. Now, you're probably watching this video because you're having trouble finding blog post topics for your newly created blog, but that's totally understandable because every new blogger, when they are just starting out, goes through this process, so you are not alone. Now, I know it sucks struggling trying to find blog post ideas that are relevant to your niche. So in this video, you're going to see a behind the scenes look at how exactly I find 3 months worth of low competition blog post topics to write about, guaranteed to get me traffic. So if you're interested in learning how to find blog post topics that you can expand on for 3 months at a time, then keep on watching. All right, let me start off by explaining why. Now, why am I crazy enough to spend hours at a time to find 3 months worth of content in only one day? Although it may seem a little crazy to do this in one day, it will save you a tremendous amount of time, and it also will save you on the days when you're not feeling it creatively. Also, it helps you to get your blog off the ground faster. Now, I do this so I'm not rushing to get content out on the day my blog post goes live, and it gives my audience the best content to help them build their blogging business by sharing relevant topics that my audience wants to learn about. But the best part of all of this, it only takes 30 minutes to 1 hour. Now, if you're brand new to doing this process may take you a little time, but as you continue to do it over and over, it'll become just like riding a bike. By searching for blog post topics in bulk, it allows me to front load my content in advance, but it also helps me to be more consistent in my blogging business. Now, the one thing I hate is not being consistent in my blogging business because it's my goal to give you value week after week after week. So in order for me to achieve that goal, finding blog posts for 3 months in advance is high on my priority list. So now that I explained to you why I'm doing it this way, let me share what you're gonna learn in this video. Now, the first thing you're gonna learn is my exact process of finding relevant blog post topics. Now, the second thing is how I keyword research to find those blog post topics. And last but not least, I'm going to show you step by step my exact process that I use to maintain all my blog post topics. So with that being said, let's get to hustling. Now, the number one thing when you're doing this, you want to broaden your search and scale it down. And what I mean by this, if you already know the beginning stages for your audience, it's real important to broaden your search and scale it down as you go and figure out how many specific pieces of content you will need to better help your audience with their problems. So let's break this down now. I need 3 months worth of blog post topics, and then those 3 months is 12 weeks. And for my blogging schedule, I publish 1 blog post per week, meaning I need 12 blog post topics. Now, the next step is finding relevant blog post topics and understanding what you want your audience to learn from it. Now, this can mean questions that new people to your website may have, or new bloggers, or even new visitors to your website. Now, the reason for this is all the beginning content should start with a specific question that a newcomer to your website will have. Now, in your case, you're going to need to evaluate how much time you need to set aside and how many pieces of content you want to start with. So whether that may be 3 months, 4 months, or even 6 months, take a decent amount of time to dedicate that to completing that task. Now that you have a number of blog post topics that you need to complete this task, now it's time to take a step back and think about the main beginning blog posts that are highly important to your audience when they're starting for the first time. Now, for me, this is where I start to think of all the questions that people may have if they're just beginning for the first time. For you and your niche, it may be different. Your questions may be simpler. Some of them may be easier than you probably may think. What I'm getting at is you really need to cover all your bases in the beginning process and leave no stone unturned. So now at this point in the video, we have a clear understanding of what we need to find 3 months worth of blog post topics. But in my case, 12 blog posts. We also have a list of beginners questions to help our process run smoothly. Again, your questions are going to be completely different than mine. Now, the next step is to keyword research, starting with your beginners questions. And without keyword research in your blog post, it's pointless if you're not targeting people who's already looking for your content. That's why I'm going to show you my screen and show you my keyword research process and put 12 blog post topics together in no time. All right, guys, now we on the computer. Now, the number one thing that you guys need to understand is like knowing your questions, knowing the beginner's questions of your blog niche that you're in. So let's say if I want to start a tattoo blog. So what I'm going to do is actually trying to find
a upward trend. So that's what you need to do. Is when you're doing this process, you need to try to see if your blog will be sustainable over a period of time or a period of years, right? So what you need to do, if I'm searching for, if I want to do a tattoo blog, so I'm going to type in tattooing, or let's just type in tattoo. All right, so now this tells me that this blog will be sustainable. Now, this is only a 12-month period, so let's look at it in the 5-year period. Now, over a 5-year period, this lets me know it'll trend high sometimes and it'll trend low. Now, it's only in certain months. All right, so let's go back and do tattooing. So if you go back and do tattooing, this showing me that at some point it's on a downward trend, but it will trend up because of the keyword tattoo. So let's run a search against tattooing. So now we run a search against tattooing. This tells me that tattoo is the keyword that we need to target. So all right, so now looking back on that, now this is where you want, at this point you need to start thinking about all the beginners questions that you will have. So now I have set up a layout. Now at this stage, you want to start to think about all the beginners questions that you will have, or that your beginners may have, or people just brand new coming to your website. So the way this works, start thinking about all the possible questions that you could possibly think of. Now this is where the bulk of all of your blog topics will reside. Now, to make your blog topics even more bulletproof, we're gonna actually scale those down, and I'm gonna show you that later on. All right, so this video I'm gonna speed this video up, and I'm gonna show you guys the finished product of how I did all of this. All right, now this is the list of topics that I pretty much came up with, and there are a whole lot more. So now, as you guys can see, some of these are related, right? Like this one, apprenticeship. This is where, like I said before, this is where the bulk of all your blog topics would be. So this is your broad search. So to make your topics even more bulletproof, this is where you'll go right here. So now, as the keyword research part of it, let's go over to Ubersuggest. As you guys can see, I did a little keyword researching. So let's go type in tattoo as a broad search. Now, as you can see, now for you guys that do not really know about Ubersuggest, I highly recommend this over SEMrush, over all these other keyword tools, because this one, keyword research, should not cost you a dime. It shouldn't cost you anything. All it is just research and drilling down on that research. So the way you do this is actually, now you're finding keywords, small keywords. So about Ubersuggest, now if you look to the right, you see all this yellow. All right, so let's go. We're gonna zoom this in a little bit. So how you see all of this yellow. Now yellow means it's a little tough for you to rank for that, and green means it's easier for you to rank. Now the thing about that, if you hover over this, it lets you know the estimated competition in organic search. The higher the number, the more competitive it is. So try to get that number as low as you possibly can. I highly recommend the early 20s, like 21, 22, or possibly 23, and on down if your website is just starting. But if you have years in, it'll be easier because you built a lot more trust with Google. All right, so now, like if you're just doing tattoo machines, you'll see it'll be a whole lot easier, a whole lot harder to rank for, excuse me. Now, so let's say, so now let's go machines, tattoo machines. So if we search that, we know that it's gonna be a hell of a lot harder to rank. All right, so let's type in here. Now I'm gonna reverse engineer this keyword. So let's go type in rotary tattoo machines, and now it should be, well, now it's not easier to rank. I mean, some keywords it work for, some keywords it don't work for. So like right here, rotary machine techniques. So if you target that keyword, you have a high chance of targeting rotary machine. So the way you find, now this is where you can do all your keyword research at. So I recommend that you guys really get in there. And here you got related questions, you got questions, prepositions, and comparisons. All right, so another good place to use is Google. So let's type in tattooing for beginners, right? So let's try that. Tattooing for beginners. Now, if you guys don't have keywords everywhere, I highly recommend it. Not to use it, but as a guide. So if you look to your right, you actually see other keywords that people are searching for. How to tattoo a circle. I mean, it sounds silly, but people actually ask that question. Tricks for tattooing straight lines. How to tattoo, starting the tattoo. So if you look down here, Google also gives you more related searches. Now, one of my best tools that I use this part right here, because these are relevant questions that people are typing in and asking. And this is where you can really get a lot of blog post topics from. So every time you click, a couple more is gonna pop in. Do tattoo apprentices get paid? So as you guys can see, we already target tattoo apprenticeship. We can actually target tattoo apprentice. So that's a whole article we can put together. Do tattoo apprentices get paid? Is there a school for tattooing? What is a good tattoo machine for beginners? How far do you stick the needle? How far does the needle stick out when you're tattooing? Is tattooing hard to learn? I mean, these are relevant questions that people are asking. And every time you click on one, you got more popping in. So another good tool, which most of you probably already know, is Quora. Now Quora, basically, this is like a forum. Now forums will give you relevant questions that people are legitimately asking. So you can come in and type you can click on questions, but I usually just come in, type in what I'm looking for. Let's say techniques. Okay, techniques. What are some tattooing techniques to use to create a sketch-like effect? All right, so let's click on that. Now this is what people are actually typing in. They're giving a response. So basically, if you already wrote your blog post, this is where you can give them a direct response. Not like you spamming not like you're spamming your content, but you actually using it to help somebody to generate traffic. So that's the first part of this whole process, the keyword research process. So now we're gonna transition back over to the computer, and we're gonna jump right back into how to get more blog post topics for your newly created blog.
Now what you're gonna see is knowing how many blog posts you're gonna write a week. But it's another thing to know how long it's gonna take you to do that process each day. So as you keyword researching your blog post topics, you're gonna need to factor in the time that it will take you to do the whole process, so that you have a starting time and how long it'll take you to do the process. Now, each time you do it, you start to become more efficient and more effective at doing it. Now, if you find this content helpful, let me know in the comments by commenting #hustle. Another good tool that you should be using is Google Search Console. After publishing your blog post, you can track the performance of how your blog post is doing over time, and using that same data to help you perform your blog post better in the search engine results. If you want to see how to set up Google Search Console to work for your blog, you can go and check that video out here. Alright, by now you already established your blog post topics that you want to write about. Now it's actually time for us to scale down those blog post topics to a specific blog post topic that will have huge impact on your results in the long run.
All right, guys, now at this point, you should already have all your broad blog post topics. Now, at this point, this is where you really want to start to scale things down, and it actually will help you to increase your chances to get that blog post ranked. Now, I know this video isn't about ranking your blog post, but as you guys will begin to see, this will actually help you out a whole lot. All right, so my first one is about tattoo apprenticeship. So I'm gonna I got a couple of ideas off the top of my head. So now within this post, all right, I misspelled tattoo. All right, so within this post right here, I can put how much are tattoo apprenticeships, how much does a tattoo apprenticeship cost. I can start to add this in. Even this post right here, I want to be a tattoo artist. Where should I start? So I can actually put all that in. So now when I actually put that in my post and somebody types that in and that's in your post, that really increases your chances of it showing up in the search results. And I'm gonna show you. So let's go over to Ubersuggest tattoo apprenticeship. And I misspelled it like always. Tattoo apprenticeship. So now, all right. So now we get 3,600 searches for that, right? So now let's go over to the questions. So now we actually narrowing that down because we're not just targeting the main keyword. We're not just targeting tattoo apprenticeship. We're targeting the question. So by us targeting the question, will it actually increase our chances for targeting the main one? So they actually put 30. They actually give you, if this makes any sense, they actually give you 3,600 chances of 3,600 people coming to your website seeing for that main keyword just by you targeting how much does a tattoo apprenticeship cost, if that makes any sense. So now at this point, since we got that, we could type in tattoo apprenticeship. So now I know that's what we targeting. So I'm gonna copy that, come over here, paste that in, and right here, paste that in. So how much does a tattoo apprenticeship cost? So now we're actually gonna increase our numbers. So we're gonna look, how much does the tattoo apprenticeship cost? That's 70. What's the next one? How to get a tattoo apprenticeship? That's 390. So you add 390 plus 70, that increases that chances plus the 3,600. All right, so that's really how you can scale that in. All right, so I'm gonna start writing out all my titles. So I'm gonna speed this video up a little bit, and once I'm done, I'm gonna explain to you guys exactly what I did. All right, guys, now we actually done with everything. Now, earlier you guys seen me type in tattoo apprenticeship for these questions right here. Now, this is my final blog post topic. Now, you probably wondering, you see SEO difficulty. Now, on the SEO difficulty, if we come back over to Ubersuggest, all this is you put that number right there. So as long as that number does not go above 21 or above, you're good. So try to keep it below 21. All right. So regarding all your blog topic questions that you brain dumped, you'll have scaled blog post topics here. All right. Well, scaled down blog post topics. So the way I did this was real simple. One question that I had, what is the best tattoo equipment? So if we come over here to Ubersuggest tattoo equipment, pretty much that is gonna be a competitive keyword. But tattoo equipment and supplies is 170. So if we look, best tattoo equipment and supplies for beginners, Reason being, because if I'm targeting tattoo equipment, this is a lot of places that sell tattoo equipment, which makes it harder to rank for that. All right, so on everything that has anything to do with tattoo equipment, I popped in tattoo equipment and supplies. So right here, does tattoo artists pay for their own tattoo equipment? So within this blog post, I can talk about that. The next one, how to tattoo clean lines. So anything dealing with line work. So like how to tattoo clean lines, how to make how to make tattoo lines thicker. I can actually put this in there. Now, the next best thing, this will actually give you a chance to know your structure of how you're gonna interlink all your posts, and that makes it real simple. That gives you a whole strategy to plan your content for 3 months. Know exactly what is gonna be in them. So, best tattoo equipment and supplies for beginners. For example, I can use that post as an affiliate post to sell all kinds of products, linking them to Amazon or eBay or any other tattoo place that takes affiliates. So, guys, this is pretty much it. That is the structure of that is the process of how I plan all my content out for 3 months in advance.
By now you may be wondering, okay, great. I know the strategy to find important blog post topics, but what about domain keywords to help your blog rank better? Tracking search results on keywords that produce some of the best results if you're just getting started for the first time. And trust me, I completely agree. Now, I'm a firm believer that building a solid foundation is important. But not only that, I recommend you check out my videos here and here, where I walk you through the process of how to find the perfect domain name for your blogging business, and also how to set up Google Search Console to track the progress of each and every blog post or even page that you write. Now, if you want to know more about writing blog posts that boost your SEO score, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because in the next video, I'm going to show you the perfect blog post format that I use to boost my SEO score even before I start writing the blog post. And make sure you follow me on Facebook, as I share more content to help you get more visitors, increase more engagement on your blog posts. So if you're building a blog and want to write better content, increase your traffic, and want new blogging strategies to take your business to the next level, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest videos I upload every Tuesday and every Thursday to serve your blogging business better. As always, guys, I appreciate you, and keep on making awesome content and keep hustling, and I'll see you in the next one.